to try and stop him.
And that was Anna Foster reporting there. Well, I'm joined now by the Executive Committee member on the American-Israel Public Affairs Committee, Harley Lippman, who is in Miami. Thanks, Harley, for joining us here on BBC News. Just first of all, just give us a sense of what is actually going on at the moment. What has led to these wide-scale protests, and why is there so much opposition?
The ruling coalition is trying to overhaul the judicial system in Israel, which means they're trying to get the judicial system under the control of the executive branch, which would, in the eyes of many people, make Israel perhaps no longer a democracy. And this is critical because people see the Supreme Court and the judiciary as truly independent. It's also leaning left. And this is the last hold that the left has in the Israeli government. So there's a feeling that the religious right is overreaching, and they are trying to get control of the country, where originally they wanted money so they could study and learn the Torah and pray. Now they want to take control of the country.
And we know that Mr. Netanyahu has dismissed Mr. Gallant, who is against that law change. But what sort of message has this actually sent out, and not only to the public and political opponents, but also those in his own government as well?
It's frightening people what they're doing. This would change Israel completely. It will no longer be the democracy that we know of it. And we have friends in the region who embarked on the Abraham Accords who said, we made peace with Israel as a democratic nation. We don't want Israel to look anything like Hamas or the Taliban or anything like that. And with this being done, Israel will look like that. So the Israeli society is up in arms, and the religious right, candidly, is made up of people that don't work, don't pay taxes, and don't serve in the military. So that is fueling the anger of people in the middle of the road and left and the right. You know, Benjamin Netanyahu's party is the Likud party, and members of his own party are not in favor of this judicial overhaul because they see it as so disruptive to Israeli society. You have the military that's saying it's going to undermine morale in Israel, and there are reservists and elite commandos that say they won't serve if this legislation goes through, and there's going to be a critical vote this Wednesday.
So, Harley, on that point, what does this mean in terms of political stability now for Mr. Netanyahu? Where does this leave his position?
Well, that's a great question, because everybody's wondering, is he driving the bus, or is it the religious right-wing coalition driving the bus, where Bibi Netanyahu is actually the most left person within the coalition government? So everybody's trying to figure that out. Certainly it will help Bibi Netanyahu because he doesn't want to go to jail. He doesn't want to go to court, and this would protect him. So there's a feeling that this is where the country has reached an epiphany. Is Bibi Netanyahu looking out for his own best interest because he doesn't want to go to jail, or is he looking out for the welfare of the entire society? What's really significant here is that no defense minister in Israel's history has ever been fired after a coalition was just created, or after a defense minister warns that there's grave danger to the national security of Israel, which the defense minister, so both happened, and he was still fired. This never happened before in Israeli history. The Israeli people have never been this divided before in Israeli history. So this is a really apocalyptic event for Israel.
Okay, Harley Lippman, thank you very much for joining us here on BBC News. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.